This is my immigrant diary, and my name is Precious.
My name is Wally.
All right, then. Today we'll be talking about something really interesting that I know will impact a lot of people, especially for those who are relocating to places more related to America, USA, and it is driving license.
Yes.
Is it driving license? Is it license to drive? I don't know what it's called, where it's coming from, but we'll call it driving license,
Yeah.
right? For me, I'm in the process. Just been a few under 2 months, I think, and I'm in the process of getting my driving license, and it's pretty interesting to see what I've had to go through just to get apply for a driving license. Although I came in with my Nigerian driving license and an international driving license, but I am required to get a Maryland driving license because it serves as an ID, and I require a driving license to purchase a vehicle, right? Nonetheless, with my international driving license and my Nigerian driving license, I am able to drive in Maryland. So, Wally, was it on your own side of the country?
Yeah, I can start with that too. So what I just wanted to say, like a lot of people don't are not really some people might not be aware of this, but you actually don't need you don't need the international driving license to be able to drive in a lot of states.
Oh, really?
It might be different, yeah, it might be different from state to state.
Mm.
But for Washington, for example, you just need a license from where you're from, where you're coming from. I think they have like a standard that they look at, and Nigerian driving license meets that standard. So if you have the standard, when you move, you can use your driving license for 6 months uh before you are required to use the local one. The same thing also if you move to Europe, for example, I lived in Germany. If you live in Germany, like in the first 6 months, you're required to. You can still use your Nigerian driving license until you switch over to the local driving license. So I guess the only challenge, what I don't know, I'm not sure about, is you just mentioned about getting a car. It might be challenging for you to get a car. So when I moved, I already had a car that I was going to be driving, so I didn't need to buy a car.
All right,
Um,
it's good.
yeah, but my experience generally it was much better. All my time in Europe, I did not need it to get a driving license because I didn't want to get a car. And with Europe, the transportation is pretty good. So like if you, there are many families that go on without using a car. I even had like a friend, family that they are my friends. They have two kids, and they had like a toddler when they sold their car because they wanted to start walking more. So it was,
That's pretty interesting.
yeah. So and it was pretty easy for anyone to do. So you can just have like your baby in your stroller, you can get on the bus, get on the train, like it's so easy. Like from my home to my stop was like 5 minutes. And so I just walk to the stop, get on a bus to take the train, and that's it. I'm good to go.
Wow, Wally,
Um,
that's really interesting. So I would like to say that please leave a comment on what Wally just mentioned about living in Europe and not needing to get a car, right? Share your experiences on the comment section so that we can really get to know and learn more about living in Europe. I've never lived in Europe, so yeah. Over to you.
Yeah, so but moving to the US, like it's a completely different ball game. Like you need a car. Like everyone, everyone needs a
Yep,
car.
yep.
So
You need a car.
I remember the first time I used the bus here. First of all, the bus is not even come for like 30, like you were 30 minutes late. So and then in addition, I was planning to get to where I was going to in like 1 hour period. I didn't get to that place like 2 hours later.
Oh my God. Oh
Just
my God.
that delay is just there with you you're just gonna be spending a lot of time on the road. And in the US where things are moving so quickly, a lot of things
Mm,
you need to be able to get from one point to another as quickly as possible. So you need a car. So that's why it's important that as soon as you get here, you try to get
uh,
your driving license.
absolutely, absolutely. I'm in that process, and I know that it is very important. In America, you need a car. It's not
Yeah,
a yeah, it's yeah.
yeah.
But well, like you mentioned, it's quite different. Yeah, over in Maryland, on the East Coast, I think. I mean, it's different state to state, but I think around the DMV area, it's almost the same thing. You're required first to do what is called the drug and alcohol test. Now, just for clarity, you're not required to go to the hospital. You're not required to go get your blood tested. No, it's a 3 hour drug and alcohol test. You're required to take a course online about the impact of drinking under the influence of alcohol, or or any other form of drug. So not just alcohol, anything that can impact your ability to drive a car safely, right? So it's a 3 hour course you're required to take, then do a test. Now, after that is done and you get, I think you're required to score 80% of the test, after which you then be required to go to the, I mean, we'll drop the link in the description.
Yeah.
I mean, if you find yourself in Maryland or around, we'll drop some link in the description and you can check them out.
It's
But
also called DMV.
oh, it's called DMV. Oh, so it's DMV. Okay, great. So yeah,
Department of Motor Vehicle.
thank you. You see, so I mean, I'm still a novice. I'm really writing my regard diary because honestly, I'm just learning everything, right? So basically, this past Saturday, I did the written test, because after the drug alcohol test, you're then required to write the computer-based test, which is the if I remember clearly, it's your is a test on the law test, something about the driving test, really, the written one. Then after that, if you do pass the test, that one you're required to score 22 out of a 25 question test. It's computer
Mm-hmm.
based test, pretty easy. I mean, if you do study the material, if you're since you're not a first time driver, really that is really easy, right? So I did the test this weekend. I did, pass the test, and then I have to schedule an appointment for a driving test, right? So in doing that, I need to get someone with a valid driving license to drive the car with me to the test center, and then I will take the car, drive to do the driving test, and then after that, I would wait to get the actual driving license.
When you say
So
valid, you mean American or a
anybody,
Maryland driving license?
yes, anybody with a valid driving license and insurance on the car, and has insurance on the car, would come with me to the driving lesson. I can get that. I have the option of that, or I can go get I can go hire or a car, but I have to hire a car with the driver basically, and that car
Mm-hmm.
has to have valid insurance, and the driver has to have a valid driving license, right?
Okay.
So I have those options. I don't know if any of the DMV offices offer rentals, but if anyone knows, please drop it in the comment section so that others can also be aware of it. But this is also to inform everyone, to enlighten people that yes, if you come into America and you have a valid driving license, for the most part, you'll be able to drive when you get here. And if you're moving here permanently, it is not a lot of work to convert to the state driving license. Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah.
I feel like it also helps to because I think one of the biggest difference between Europe when I moved to Europe anyway, I had a job and everything, so I was just working and working. Um, um, I might take a little bit longer for you to focus on getting a license if you want to. But my experience in the US has been like the documents have definitely been delayed. So I didn't move here. I just started working immediately, and so I had to wait for some of my documents to come before I can apply for things. So while I was waiting, I just make sure I started looking up information. I'm in Washington, by the way, in the West Coast, and I here it's a little bit different. So they don't require the drug and alcohol test. They require the driving test, the theory or the written test, and then the practical, which is the driving. So how you go about it, it doesn't really matter. The DMV, you can either apply to do it at the DMV here, or you apply to schools which they've already driving schools which are licensed to train people to do your test. So and they have like they provide all the resources that you're going to need on their website. So I looked all the information there. I looked they really just have one book for you to study for the test. So it was I just had to be sure that I studied everything carefully. I was aware of everything like in the book, and also things that are unique to Washington. There are bits of pieces that are a little bit different. For example, like in Washington, it is safe to turn left if you don't have any sign that is telling you to not to turn. Like it is safe to turn left when even if the light is red. So as long as it is legal rather to turn left, as long as like there are no oncoming vehicles, so you can turn left. In many other states, like they don't, that's illegal. So things like that, like you just have to be aware about Washington. So I looked up the information. I downloaded the PDF, studied that very hard, looked up I did my test at the school because my assumption is that like many people would go to the DMV and they might be overcrowded. So I just wanted to do it at a school that I know that I just register as soon as possible, get my thing done. So and my hunch was kind of correct, but because even looking for a school was a little bit, I didn't get like a schedule like tomorrow or something like that. I had to schedule for like until the next week before I could go in and do the test. So I think I was blessed enough to also get the test done one time. And so for that school, like you could pay for just a written test or just a practical test, but like if you pay for both, you get discount. And then for me, it just makes sense to do everything with the same school. So I did the written test, and when I passed that the next week, I went there. I think it was the next week. No, I had to schedule an appointment also for the practical. So that was like I think a week or 2 weeks later. I went there, did that, and once I concluded my test, the guy that tested me just said, "Okay, fine. You just we're going to upload the results onto the system. You just go to the DMV and go and apply for your license when you get tomorrow or whenever, as soon as you want to." So I went the next day. It was so pretty straightforward. Went the next day, told them about it, gave them my information because you have to register online. You get like an ID of some sort, ID or a license. I don't know, but you get a number that you use to do the tests. So that's how they can track that. This is you just go there, give them a number, to get information. They take and they tell you you get like a temporary license immediately. And then they will send they'll send the actual ID a few days later. So with the temporary license, you can start driving as soon as possible, but you can use it as a form of identification. So for example, if you want to travel at the airport, like you can use your driver's license to show them and that's it, you're good to go. But you cannot use the temporary, like that. So so yeah, so that's the only difference. But at the time, I don't think I had any other ID with me. It was just a license. I don't think I had gotten my other documents yet. So it was just a driving license that came first. And then I use the driving license to do many other things. In US, like you need an ID to
Oh yes.
whether it's for bank account, whether it's
Yeah,
for uh, some certain types of registrations that you need, even if you want to, for example, I'm not sure that you'll be able to get like even paying for like utilities or things like that. Even being able to rent an apartment. I'm not so sure like you'll be able to get something.
well, you need
Um,
an ID. You need an ID for most stuff you
for
mentioned.
most things, yeah, you need an
Yeah, you need
ID.
an ID. Interestingly,
So
right? I dealt with that because in trying to open a bank account, for instance, I needed a proof of residence, and I mean, I just landed, and I had nothing to show that the proof of residence, which includes stuff like utility bill, rental agreement, and you know, mails, evidence of mails received from federal or state government. I mean, these things are online. You can easily find um, documents that can stand as proof of residence. So
yeah,
I needed to get that. In order for me to open a bank account, I needed all of that. And in order for me to also, file for the driver license, which I'm in process, I also needed two evidence, right? So at the end of the day, I went there with so one of the act I would like to mention in proof of residence or anybody coming to America, please register on USPS and sign up for informed delivery. As soon as you do that, they will send you letters to your home address, and because USPS is owned by the government, um, it is accepted as proof of evidence, as one of the proof of evidence when you go file for anything or documentation that you need to do. So that information was given to me by a friend, and I did use it, and I saw that it does work. So the other thing I did was to call up the utility company and requested that they add my name on the utility bill for my residence. So they did that,
yeah,
and so I used both as the two evidence of residence. So I think reasonably that is one hack using
yeah,
USPS, yes. So,
yeah.
yeah, if you newly move, and if you just landed, or if you're intending to come into the US anytime soon, please, that is one hack you can use to
Yeah, so
avoid.
that's why getting a driving license is so important. Okay, the other way that you can do it is by getting just in here, especially for Washington. I'm not sure about like Maryland, but for Washington, you can apply for a state ID without all those things. I think what they probably need is just evidence of your residence, which will be on your passport when you
Oh,
move.
really?
Um, yeah,
It seems
so
like there's a huge difference between the West Coast and the East Coast. Well, I'd like to mention that please, based on the topic, you can leave a comment in the comment section, depending on what part of the US you are in. Please leave a comment. Share some of the information that might not be accurate from what we're saying, or if you have something even more recent or
mhm.
updated information, please put it in the comment section so that other viewers can, be abreast of this information. All right.
Yeah, and if you're liking the content so far, please like and subscribe. It's going to help us push. It's going to help us with YouTube pushing our video to so many other viewers that might be interested in, and they'll find this content useful.
All right then.
Yeah,
Awesome. I think it's been an amazing time, but I can guarantee you I will keep you abreast and updated on my progress. When I finally obtain the driving license, I'll probably make a follow-up video on updates on this.
yeah.
At the end of the day, then we'll at that time probably have more information on East Coast and West Coast and the process of getting driving license, ID cards, and maybe setting up bank accounts and the like.
Yeah.
All right. Been an amazing time. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Wally.
Yeah, thank you so much. This was really good.
Okay, then. Enjoy the rest of your day.